There is great joy among people who recognize the historic nature of this election, not only because it's the first woman to be vice president, first person of color to be vice president, but also because it really was a statement about who we are as a country.
April 30th marks the first 100 days of Kamala Harris as vice president. Since becoming Biden's number 2, she's established herself as a highly visible partner, traveling and meeting with important constituencies to sell the president's agenda around the country, breaking ties in the Senate and standing by Biden's side in public and private moments. But has she been influential? I'm Noah Bierman, and I cover the vice president for the Washington Bureau of the Los Angeles Times. Here's a look back at key moments from the vice president's first 100 days in office.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear.
Harris was sworn in on January 20th, 2021, and it was an inauguration like no other.
Normally, with inauguration, there's always like the National Mall is completely packed with people, and it's generally a lot louder because everybody's there. But due to COVID and a lot of the security measures that were in place due to the January 6th insurrection, there was a very, very small crowd present on the Capitol that day. I mean, there were probably more media than anything else there.
The administration moved quickly to tackle the pandemic, with Biden signing a series of executive orders to ramp up COVID-19 vaccinations and expanding testing, and Harris taking on the role of encouraging Black people to get vaccinated against COVID-19.
He has made quite the effort in making appearances on radio and TV and public appearances to help people get vaccinated, to address this issue of disparities in vaccination rates, particularly among African Americans and Latinos as well, and the vaccine hesitancy, which is also sometimes accompanied that.
In late January, Harris recorded an interview in local television in West Virginia, the home of the most conservative Democrat in the U.S. Senate, Joe Manchin. Harris was promoting the administration's COVID relief package, and he let it be known that he was not happy with what he perceived as pressure from Harris to support the package in his home turf. The move was a risky one because Manchin will hold the keys to almost every important piece of legislation in an evenly divided Senate. On February 5th, Harris returned to the Senate and cast her first tie-breaking vote to pass a COVID relief budget measure.
The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the concurrent resolution as amended is adopted.
Nearly a month later, she cast her second tie-breaking vote to begin the Senate debate on the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, racism and hate crimes directed at the Asian American Pacific Islander community have skyrocketed.
Racism is real in America, and it has always been. Xenophobia is real in America, and always has been. Sexism, too. Everyone has the right to go to work, to go to school, to walk down the street and be safe, and also the right to be recognized as an American, not as the other. Not as them, but as us. A harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
We've had shootings of Asian Americans, and so she's also, the first Asian American woman to hold this role. And so she's also facing new pressures in leadership from a new activist space of Asian American activists that are very vocal about wanting things from the administration.
On March 24th, Biden tapped Harris to lead diplomatic efforts in Central America aimed at decreasing migration from the region. Her newest job, to enlist Mexico and Central American countries to help address what the administration calls the root causes of migration, is a solo mission for which she will be judged directly. Harris has faced relentless criticism from Republicans who have tried to make her the face of the overall immigration problem. She's also under pressure from liberals who do not want to see the administration crack down on immigration in the manner that the Trump administration did. Shortly after being handed one of the administration's thorniest problems, Harris spoke with President Alejandro Giammattei of Guatemala to discuss ways to boost economic growth in the region. On April the 5th, Harris made her first official visit as vice president to the city of her birth, Oakland. She touted the Biden administration's $2 trillion infrastructure plan.
The VP grew up very close to the water treatment plant that she visited in Oakland. She toured it with Governor Gavin Newsom. We departed early the next morning for Chicago. The motorcade headed to a union hall. They had partnered with a pharmacy to turn it into a vaccination site to get all of the union members vaccinated. She was really, there to remind everyone that everybody should get vaccinated, for not just for themselves, but for their community.
Harris participated in a roundtable on the Northern Triangle of Central American nations.
Most people don't want to leave home. We have an opportunity as the United States of America, with the resources and with the will that we have, to provide the people of the Northern Triangle with some hope that if they stay at home, help is on the way.
On April 20th, after former officer Derek Chauvin was found guilty of murder and manslaughter in George Floyd's death, and President Biden delivered a rare nationally televised address on racism, he chose to share the platform with Harris.
America has a long history of systemic racism. Black Americans, and black men in particular, have been treated throughout the course of our history as less than human.
For me personally, I think it was a moment where it's like, oh, this is what it means to have a vice president who's a person of color, who's Black.
Last summer, together with Senator Cory Booker and Representative Karen Bass, I introduced the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act.
So the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act would do several things. Among them would be getting rid of chokeholds, getting rid of qualified immunity. It also would create, I think, the most important thing, which is a tracking mechanism for officers who are accused of misconduct. So it keeps cops from being in one department, getting fired or let go, and then moving, another county or another state and doing the same thing.
Unlike Biden, who had spent decades in the Senate and had extensive experience in foreign affairs when he served as vice president to Barack Obama, Harris is still learning on the job. She's been a visible partner to Biden, but that has kept her from stepping out or establishing an extensive record of policy that she can call her own. Harris has been part of a group advocating to include money for poor and disadvantaged people and women who have lost jobs. But White House officials and allies cannot point to specific pieces of Biden's agenda that bear Harris's imprint. For now, she has just one solo assignment: discouraging immigration from Central America, a fraught task that she has yet to fully explain, and one that has put a political target on her back.